Okay, so here we are. Welcome everybody to the Comic Underground presents submitting comics. This is part one, and we are super stoked to be here today with Ron from Palm Beach Presser.
Good evening. How are you, Kyle? Appreciate the
Doing great.
opportunity to talk with you a little bit.
So basically, what's happening, guys, is I've posted on my personal account is I've never submitted books, so I wanted to go somebody that I trust and the community trusts to press their books, and I wanted to show very transparently the entire process. So Ron has been kind enough to be the my pressing and submission sensei, so that we can carry this through the whole process. So I posted that step one was deciding what's going to get pressed and picking up all those pieces. And because I want to know the process cold, I've made pictures of everything that I possibly could. So these are the 10 books that I plan on submitting. So very quickly, we've got X-Men 50. I put down the grade that it was supposed to be according to the person I bought it from. So I've got X-Men 50 in an 8085, X-Men 100 in a 7075, the same grade on a 101, two versions of X-Men 129 in a 7075 and an 8085, a high grade UXM 141 Days of Future Past 9294 ish. And then three books I don't know the grade of because they were mine from my childhood. And that is 268, X-Men 1, and X-Men 11, all signed by Jim Lee. And then an NYX4 that I bought at a 9496, but I'm going to reveal a pretty significant piece of damage that might keep it from being a 9.8. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to go through these books. I'm going to show Ron some of the things that are going on with them and just get his thoughts on if it's something that a presser can clean up or not. So the first
Excellent.
one we were going to focus on is X-Men 100. Again, this one's supposed to be like, I think I said 6570. And here's the pictures of what I noticed on it. I'm sure Ron's going to find other stuff, but Ron, what do you think about this one? Is this a decent candidate?
Well, this is a valuable book and it's a sought after book. I mean, everybody wants it. So you really can't go wrong with improving this book. I mean, for the amount you're going to be invested in it to improve it, you're going to be more than cover your return on the investment. There are all those defects that I'm seeing on the screen are improvable. It looks like I assume that's probably the back top left corner in the top left quadrant of that photo, right? With the
Yeah.
creasing, yeah. So that particular corner, that's a hard crease line that's there. It would be considered color breaking, but it's on white. But it's going to improve and look a little smoother, but there is going to remain a crease line there. So that's gonna affect the grade. It's not going to fully come out, but it's going to look better and improve. The dings that I'm seeing, little finger bends and dents in the cover, no problem. They're going to come out in that top right photo. Bottom left photo, I'm looking at a back cover with a light, soft, non-color breaking crease at the staple.
Yep.
That'll probably just about entirely come out. Can't tell you for sure that it's going to 100% be gone, but there's a pretty good chance that it's going to be very close to completely gone. And then that other back corner, I assume that's probably like the back bottom left corner that we're looking at. That
Yes.
book upside
Yes.
down. Yeah, so that's a mess. Big improvements are available, but again, probably not 100% all those crease lines are going to fully remove. We'll sharpen it up and smooth it out, but good photos to start with. And I'm going to kind of I'll take photos that match those angles as best I can when the book's done, and we can kind of compare how they came out. So
Cool.
I think it's a good choice, and it's a lot of pressable defects. If that's all that book had, what you're looking at there, I would kind of envision that that top left corner is going to be the defect that limits the grade a little bit, and
Mhm.
that type of damage alone would probably bring it down to about a 9.0. You add the other corner, maybe it go down a little lower than that, but if the rest of the book is perfect and good, I mean, you're probably looking at a possible 8.5 on a book like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a bunch of spine ticks. There's probably a few color
Yeah,
breaking. And then the bottom, the thing I didn't include, and it's gonna be hard to see on camera, but the bottom of it has some color
The
loss on the
bottom edge
top.
has, oh, yeah, that's not uncommon on those books. You're looking at a book that's from the late 70s there, so it's going to have those type defects most of the time, especially when you see, those type bends on it. But it's a great candidate for cleaning and pressing.
All right, the next one
Doing a
is
101, yeah.
my favorite one of my favorites. It's 101, and it definitely has some stuff that I know I would
Mhm.
never sign you up to try to, you can't promise you could fix it. The bottom left obviously is a little tear. It now that is zoomed way in, so it has a
Good.
very small tear. And then the top right is obviously a color breaking dog ear on the bottom
Yep.
corner of the book, but it is also extraordinarily small
Yep. Yep.
right there. But again, I know you can't put the color back.
Can't
What
put
do
the
you think
color.
about the other two things though on the blue?
Yeah, those type defects, those soft creases, they'll go away. I could pretty much guarantee it. I think I see a color break right by the wave, about an inch from the bottom.
Yep.
That color break obviously is going to remain as well. But the cover dents, books from that era, late 70s, 80s, really do improve a ton. And I know your plan is I'm going to pre-screen these books when I get them.
Mhm.
So I'll get a better overall view of all the defects on the book, and I'll go through and tell you everything that I'm seeing and what's going to be improvable, what's not. So my pre-screen process is kind of, I'll give you a current grade of what I believe the estimated current grade would be, and I'll let you know what I think the grade is ultimately going to be after cleaning and pressing. I'll envision how it's going to turn out, and I'll list all the defects that are causing the problems on the book. And then
Right.
the customer at that point makes the decision: do I want to clean and press this book and grade it afterwards, or do I want to cut my losses and just send it back to me? Or in the case of a book that's already nearly perfect, do I want to even bother cleaning and pressing?
So my favorite books in my collection, again, everybody can tell they're all X-Men books, so I'm a big X-Men homer, but my favorite books are GSX and X-Men 94, but for sure.
And you
But
have both of those already in
I have
mind?
both of those already slabbed. So this is the next one. This would definitely be third. First Kitty Pryde, first Emma. I've got
Yep.
two of them, and this is the worst of the two. So I'm only out about $100 on this book. So it's supposed to be a 7075. And I noticed some things. Again, I know what you're going to say about the thing on the left, which is just some sort of fingernail dent or something.
Yeah, it seems like it, right? There's no stain there. It looks like there's a
No, no,
little
no, no. And there's
difference in
no cut
reflection.
or
So,
anything. And
okay, good.
again, I'm really zoomed in to see that. You can't even see
Yeah,
the
I
back.
definitely see the finger bend going vertically just
Yeah.
above his elbow. I wasn't sure what that spot was in the red area right above that, so I was a little concerned about that. If that's some kind of
I agree. I don't
substance.
know what that is. It's not even visible in the bag at all.
Okay,
So
we'll
it's
take
not
a look at it when we get it.
deep.
Sometimes it's removable, sometimes it's not, but that's not a major detriment on a book. It looks like it's very hard to identify unless you're looking for it.
What I was curious about are the other two. Those I haven't seen as much.
Yep. Looking at that back cover, it looks like we're looking at a little bit of edge bend, I would call it, or possibly edge roll. Usually it's kind of a, now that may be, it's probably caused by the way a person holds the book while they reads it. But sometimes you have to worry about a crease line there. I can't tell in that photo if there is a crease line or if it's just bent down.
Right.
Um, it will come out, but if there is a crease line there, the crease lines remain, and it's considered a reader's crease.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
and then the photo below that, I see a little bit of rippling in the paper. So that kind of usually indicates that the book probably got wet there.
Yeah.
And my concern would be, although it looks fine on the front cover, the rippling will go away. But a lot of times when you get a book wet, there'll be texture change on the ink, and that may not fully smooth out. And on a dark color like that, you may not see a stain, but if you look at the back of the cover, which is usually white, sometimes you'll see a little brown stain there, and the grader may, well, they should be looking at the interior of the covers as well. And if they do see brown discolorations, they'll hit you for a stain. Stains can dramatically affect the grade of a book. It's subjective, and it changes a little bit how much of a deduction it would be. It's less of a deduction on a vintage book, but on a modern book, you can see a 7.0 or a 6.5 on a book that has a stain.
Okay.
So,
So I did check the
it's,
back cover, and there's no
yeah,
stain.
that's good.
I'm guessing it's like a tiny drop of water's hit it
It
or
could have
something.
been. And a lot of times you'll only see the stain if the cover was dirty. You tend to get a tide line stain because you get a clean spot and all that excess moisture fans out and
Yeah.
takes that dirt with it and creates a tide line. And that's a lot of times what's observable. And you won't see it much on dark colors. It's the whites where it really shows up. So if you don't see that on the interior of that cover, it's going to be fine. It's going to come out fully, I would think, unless there's a texture change in the inks from the.
And then
Yeah.
the last
And
one
why not?
is the
Go sign that.
heartbreaker.
Go to the signatures.
I bought it. I paid too much for it. I got it signed. I paid
We've all
$100.
been there.
I've got 400. No, I got 375 into the book. Paid $100 for Middleton to sign it because he charges $100 for this book. Yeah. Then I think Casada at that con was 40 or 60. So I've got, yeah.
A bit.
I'm in under this one.
You need it to be a 9.8, huh?
And I know it's not going to be because it has
you got a blunted
punch right there. You're not gonna be able to see it, but there's the pictures of it.
Nah, you can see it.
There's a little color loss.
Yeah.
So
the hardest parts of a book to improve are your spine corners. So, I do see an indent there. I see the way the light's reflecting off the photo on the left, and that should smooth out and not reflect light so dramatically. But if there is a crease there, or if there's a crush on that corner a little bit, it's going to be really hard to fully straighten that out and not leave any remnant. It may improve to be 9.8 passable, but I think you're probably going to look at a book there that's probably going to be limited to 9.6 when it's pressed and cleaned.
I think
the hardest is to improve are those corners.
I think I don't think it's going to get a 9.8, and I think at that point I'm a loss anyway. So that's one. That's one because it has two signatures that I probably want to get slabbed anyway. So now that we've looked at the books, I want to go through Ron's process. So I'm going to send all these books to Ron. And as he said, I want to do pre-screening. So the way you're going to submit to Ron is you'll go to palmbeachpresser.com, and right on his homepage, it has two options. One is they're both the PDF can be printed or filled out online, and the spreadsheet can be filled out online.
Or you can print them right. Most people write them out. We're a bunch of older adults a lot of times, and so I see a lot of handwritten forms, which is totally fine as well. The key is that I get something with the books, so I know whose books they are. I have all your contact info, especially if you're a new customer and we don't know each other. Because I have people contacting me by email, phone, Instagram, text messages, even WhatsApp, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, I told you I was sending you those, and it was 2 weeks ago, and I barely remember the conversation, let alone the book." So I really need that contact info, and I need a form to keep with your books as well, because I do tend to have, if they're standard speed books here, they're here for a little while, so I need something to kind of keep with all your books and keep everything separated and organized.
So to save time, I've pulled down Ron's form, and obviously at the top I put all my personal information that I cropped out. But this is really pretty simple, gang. All you do is put in the book, the comic, the issue number, whether or not you want it pre-screened, and fast track. So Ron, will you explain pre-screening versus fast track, or both?
Sure, yeah. Well, fast track's real simple. My standard speed turnaround time varies a little bit based upon how much backlog I have. It seems to be getting worse more often than it's getting better. A little more books come in on a regular basis than I'm able to get done. I am a one-man shop. Other than help in unboxing books packages that come in and doing my initial invoices, I do all the cleaning and pressing myself. I do all the packaging myself. So it's a one-man program that gets done every day, pretty much 7 days a week, unless my wife takes me on a vacation somewhere. So the fast track basically puts you to the front of the line. I got two options: back of the line, front of the line. Fast tracks, as they come in, they get done before standard speed books get done. So you're in the fast track queue. There may be 3 or 4 ahead of you any given time, but those books are normally done at this time in about a week. 10 days is not uncommon. Standard speed right now is roughly about 9 weeks, as best as I can tell. I'm working on books from about 8 weeks ago right now. And it gets hard to predict the standard speed because over that 9-week period, I don't know how many fast tracks are going to cut the line, and it makes it tough to, you know, to predict. Because honestly, probably 70% of the submissions I get are fast track now. So the line keeps getting cut.
Yeah.
So fast track is $8 more per book.
Okay.
So if it's one book, it's $8 in your batch. If there's 40 books in your batch, it's $320 for that
Yeah,
full.
yeah, yeah. No, I get it.
So it depends.
And you've already explained the pre-screening process that basically means you get the books and you check them out and all that
Yep.
before you do anything.
Correct. So
So
I'll do
that's
a written
awesome.
report. You get a written report, Excel, basically a spreadsheet report, details on your book, and then you make the decision. You'll look at the current grade, the potential grade, and a lot of times, especially on older books or vintage books or books that are mid-grade, I can improve the eye appeal of a book, but I may not be able to dramatically improve the grade of a book.
All right. So once you fill this out, guys, there's some options at the bottom and it gives you all the details about how much all this costs. So I want you to kind of walk me through mine in my case. So the moderns are $15 and the vintage older than 75. And
Yep.
oh man, this is testing me. I think I only have one. Only the 50
Yep.
is
Yep.
before
Yep.
75. And then the high value and unlimited. So walk us through that. So all mine
Sure.
are 15 automatically. This one's 22, but walk me through the high value and unlimited.
Yep, sure. I chose to select my high value cutoffs based upon the value of an issue at 9.8. So that makes it a little simpler for the customer because they could easily look up what's the value of this issue in a 9.8, and is it over 750 or is it over $3,000 or is it under that? That alleviates the need to have to know, is my book going to be a 6.0? Is my book going to be an 8.0? A lot of people don't know what to expect when it's done. So it makes it simple. You know right away what the price will be. So if you look up, I did not look up the value of an X-Men 50, but I'm pretty sure in a 9.8, it's probably a $2,500 book or more, maybe
Somewhere in there.
ballpark somewhere in there. So that's probably going to fall into the over 750, less than 3,000 range. So there'd be a $5 upcharge, regardless of the condition. If you sent me a 2.0 or you sent me, a 9.4, that will be the price. It really doesn't make a difference to me. And honestly, you win some, you lose some, but honestly, it takes a lot more work for me to work on a book that's a 2.5 or a 3.5 than it does to work on a book that's an 8.0.
Sure.
There's more risk involved. There's more cleaning involved. There's more press cycles involved. Sometimes it all depends on, some work out well, some don't. And then on the unlimited value, so this is where you get into your giant size X-Men books. Any book that has a value over $3,000 at 9.8. There's not many modern books that have that. And honestly, there's not many modern books that have a value over 750 at 9.8. Now, it gets a little more confusing at the unlimited value range. This is your giant size X-Men, your Hulk 181s, that kind of stuff. So you're looking at a fee schedule that is going to be 3.5% of the value of your book at the grade, at a CGC grade.
So not if it's a 9.8, but if it's a 7.5, and if it gets up to a 9.8,
yes,
it's 3K.
The first tier is basically, is it over $3,000 at 9.8? If it is, then it's unlimited value. Now, the rate is going to vary on those books based upon the condition of your copy of the book. So it's not, the fee is not going to be based on the value of a 9.8. It's going to be based on the value of your 7.5, let's say. And it's going to be after I clean and press. I make an estimated grade, which I should mention, regardless of whether or not somebody pre-screens a book. I'm going to give you a grade estimate for every book that I clean and press. You're going to know, so you can make that decision. Do I want to send this to CGC? Is it worthwhile? So even if you don't pre-screen the book, pre-screen gives you an out before you spend the money to clean and press it. The estimated grades you'll get regardless. It's part of the flat fee schedule. For $15 on modern books, you're going to get my estimated grade, what CGC should grade that book.
Right.
So you'll get that as well on the unlimited value books. And then the fee on those will be 3.5% of its graded value with a minimum of $45. So that kind of comes out to if your book's value is, let's say, $1,000, the fee would have been $35, but there's a $45 minimum on that tier. So it would be a $45 fee. If your book is worth $3,000 in the graded condition that we assign it, then it's going to be a $105 fee. So that's kind of how that structure works.
Got it.
People ask, how do I come up with the grades? experience. But if I am wrong, and honestly, my grades are on target probably 2/3 of the time. More often than not, I am going to be low. I am very rarely high. I want to underpromise and overdeliver every time. I want people to be happy at the end. And the graders they're subjective. Grades are subjective. They're going to change periodically. So I want to be the strictest grader that CGC has, because I am going to grade. I know your books really well. I've looked at every square inch of the book. I've pressed it probably multiple times, and I know every defect. The grader who picks up your book is not going to spend anywhere near as much time as I did. Hopefully, they're not going to see all the little defects that I may know about that they may not know about it, because they're just trying to get their job done. So I am going to be very strict. If I overgrade the book, though, you will get credit back for any overcharges. If I undergrade the book, then you got a benefit. You got a good deal. You got a discount on that grading on that pressing process. So if I put a 7.0 and you got an 8.0, there's no additional fee owed.
So basically, if you're looking to send in a book to Ron and most pressers, then you're going to pay this $15. If you want to jump to the front of the line, Ron calls that fast tracking. That makes it $23. And if you want pre-screening, that's $4.50. So that's going to make it $27.50 for a modern and $34.50 for a vintage, unless it's of great value. So you're getting all that for
with the estimated grade at the end.
34. So I'm going to go ahead and do all the things just so everybody can see the whole process. So I want it pre-screened, even though, again, the next couple steps you're going to see from us are, do we press them? I'm going to press everything because I do want the eye appeal, but we're going to do that anyway. And then once Ron's done with it, he's going to tell us what he thinks the grade's going to be. And then we need to do some math together and decide, is this one worth sending in and paying CGC fees, given what I've got into it, what it will be worth if it gets the grade that Ron thinks, as opposed to this guy that I've had since I was 13 years old that's going to go on a slab no matter what, even if it's worth $5, right? So we're going to go through that whole process together, and Ron's going to kind of be here to guide us through it. So my next goal is to somehow pack this really well and get it to Ron safely. I'm going to print out the form, sign it, and ship it off to him. And the next time you see this, Ron's going to have the books in his hands, and he's going to have pre-screened them, and he can show us
what the expectations
what I missed and what we'll
do that. Sounds good. We'll go over what the expectations are, what the estimated grades are, and then we can look at them again when they're done and see how accurate I was.
That's amazing. So Ron's being very brave to step out there. But again, Ron comes highly recommended. If you guys are fans of the Comic Underground, you've seen Andrew from Gold Standard Collectibles on there, who's used Ron for years. You've also seen people on his website, like we know in our community, like Code Blue, who recommend him highly and use him all the time. So he's done things that are Code Blue. That means you've done
Code Blue approved.
Code Blue approved with
I see a lot of 2.5s and that kind of stuff as well. Yeah.
And you've seen, we know how, if you've seen
Andrew's books are 9.8s. Yeah.
He's obsessed with 9.8s. So he's done it all, guys. So we're gonna cut it right here, but thanks, guys, and we'll come back to you in probably a few weeks and see what Ron gets once I get it to him. So thanks so much, Ron, for joining us. I appreciate you, man.
Okay, get him in the mail quicker, and let's do it in a few days.
All right, cool. I will.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks so much, buddy.
All right, great talking to you. Look forward to working with you soon.